Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning. Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning, right?
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
It's a little bit wet, drizzly this morning.
Yeah.
And we're about to get our weather update, so hopefully there's some good news.
What's good news for you? Because I kind of have some insight from yesterday.
A little bit less rain. That would
Ooh,
work.
I'm going to let Angelia tell you that one. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm okay. You?
Not too bad.
All right. So, Angelia, let's go get into our weather forecast. Can you tell us about our general situation for this morning?
Okay, we had some prefrontal activity overnight. Cold front reached just about north of the country. Didn't cross the country. So temperatures won't get as cool as we expected. But we had a few showers and thunderstorms sweeping across mostly northern and central Belize last night.
Okay. And what can we expect over the next 24 hours?
Okay, we can expect skies to be cloudy at times with a few showers, periods of rain, and possible isolated thunderstorms around the country, probably starting a little later today.
Okay. And what about our winds?
Okay, the winds will be from the north and northwest at 10 to 20 knots this morning, and then shifting to blow from the east and northeast at 5 to 15 knots this afternoon.
Okay. And our temperatures, what highs can we expect?
Okay, with cloudy conditions, we expect the high temperatures to peak at about 82 degrees Fahrenheit over the coast, 86 inland, and about 77 in the hills.
And for
So
tonight?
relatively mild temperatures.
Okay, yep, sounds all right. And for tonight?
And for tonight, we expect the low temperatures to reach about 75 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 68 inland, and 65 in the hills.
All right, and finally, let us know what our outlook is as we head into Wednesday.
Okay, we expect moisture to decrease over the area starting later tonight. But we might still see some cloudy skies at times, but we expect little to no rainfall though for tonight and tomorrow.
Okay, well, Angelia, thank you so much for that update.
You're welcome.
Right, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you too.
There you have it.
Not exactly the news I was hoping for.
Well, see, that's why I said I'd make her break it to you. But it's going to cool things down a bit because it has been pretty warm.
Yes, that is true.
There you
And
go.
That's going to be nice. So
There's your silver lining.
absolutely.
Okay.
Literally to a cloud.
Remember your umbrella. All right, we're going to keep things moving this morning, get you going with some motivation, which means it's time for our eye opener. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. Silence can make us nervous thinking we need to fill the void. But there is immense strength in silence. All sounds, from a whisper to a classical symphony, arise out of silence and disappear into silence. But silence is always there beneath sound and is the space where sound can exist. We tend to think of silence as the absence of sound, but silence has its own weight and quality. When you listen to silence, you can perceive its immense depth and power. Taking the time to experience silence calms the mind and rejuvenates the body. Silence is a void where we can hear the many sounds that we often ignore. The voice of our intuition telling us the truth, the sound of the breeze blowing, the hum of the radiator, and the noises we make just because we're alive. At night, Choose a moment after everyone around you has retired and tune into the silence. You can also experience silence throughout the day, even in the midst of activity. Moments of silence are always present. Usually we ignore or feel nervous around silence and try to fill these moments with sound. Yet silence is always there, vast, potent, and available for us to step into anytime we choose.
That's another one that's addressed to me. I'm very scared of silence.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know, because I don't know. It always feels like there's something unknown. So it always makes me uneasy because I don't. But even with that said, I think that kind of the end of the eye opener is what's important. And I think that, for example, I can. If I do, get into a moment or whatever where it is quiet, then all I have to do is sort of relax, and it takes maybe about 5 seconds, or take a breath, and then I find a sound to latch onto. So when just like when the eye opener was talking about, whether it's the sound of the fan or the AC or the wind blowing or birds singing, I always find that there's some sort of sound.
Yeah.
I latch onto that, and then it immediately then I calm down, and then my mind starts to wander, and then I start to feel that peace that the eye opener was talking about. So it's an interesting thing, and because it is super powerful, because there's it's like the same reason that makes me uneasy is also why it's so great. It's because it's so vast, it's so unknown, and then like what the end of the eye opener says is that you can choose to jump into it, and you can choose to fill it with sound when you want, and choose whichever direction that you want to go in. So it's it has its ups and downs, or good and bad.
I thought you'd have great appreciation for silence with your music background.
Well, I think that absolutely, and I think that I like what
when it opens with the talk about the orchestra.
And Beethoven.
Yeah.
So. No, absolutely, and I think that, and a lot of musicians will tell you as well that silence is also part of music, and you'll have written pauses on something, and that it's very significant. And just deciding how long to pause, because that it can build tension, it can create that completely different atmosphere. So definitely, my problem is I just always want to hear something. I don't I always feel like. When things stop, if I stop hearing things, then it's like, all right, life stops.
Yeah. No, I love the eye opener. I think it really nails what we understand to be silence. I have a great appreciation for quiet moments. And I know that's strange because people only see me on TV, and naturally we're very chatty. Silence on TV can be very challenging.
Yeah.
So we do usually have to fill airtime. But I think that one of the things that you learn to appreciate, if you think of the people that you can sit and just be quiet with, it's the people you're most comfortable with.
Oh, yeah.
It's the people that you don't feel the urge or the necessity to keep the conversation going, because you know that you can retreat to your pensive space comfortably next to someone, and whether it's taking in ambient sound or just the quiet of the moment, it is so absolutely powerful. And we see it in so many different things, even in our language. When someone has to tell you something difficult and there's this pause, all the tension that's just hanging in that moment. And I think you learn to appreciate it. But especially because I've had such an early morning routine for such a long time, the quiet in the morning for me is the best. Yeah. Whether it's the wind or the birds or the rustle of the leaves, it's one of those moments that you can really embrace being outdoors. And if you do find yourself being uncomfortable with silence, I think that's a great place to start, because really nobody's going to be there to fill the void for you anyway. But yeah, there is great power in it, and I think that acknowledging that is something that kind of helps you when you meditate, when you do any kind of relaxation exercises. It always talks about being able to find that silent space, because you kind of have to not distract yourself with everything else.
It's true, and I think that sometimes even when you do, or even when you do try to take those quiet moments, I think that it's also, at least for me all the time, then when you take that opportunity, there's all the sounds that you hear that you wouldn't normally have heard. And the eye opener spoke a little bit about that, and whether one of the things that I am always thinking of about, you know, and this is almost like on a daily basis, like so, especially like if I'm outside, just the amount of different birds you hear singing that you don't ever really that, you know, if you're just going about your day, you don't pay attention to those types of sounds. But and even they spoke about you know, the sounds that make you alive. And I can recall one experience a few years back when you know, a blackout hit, and it was, you know, that type of silence is like dead silence when there's a blackout, and you know, there was no breeze or anything, and I was like, and it was driving me crazy at that point. So I was like, oh my God, I hate this. And then after, you know, after a few minutes, I lay down, and then it was just me in my bed, and then I actually started to hear, you know, like, you know, my heart beating, and even you can hear like when you're, you know, the exchange of like blood or something going on right in your ears. You can hear that happening. And I didn't know that. And then like I was so surprised by the sound, and I Googled it, and I'm like, is this a real thing? And I'm like, yes. But yeah, you can hear your body, and you can, and it.
Well, we definitely have all heard the gurgling in our stomach when we're digesting.
For sure. But it gives you a different sort of appreciation because you don't notice things like that every day. Yeah. Even when you breathe in and out, you can hear those sounds inside.
All right. So there you go. That's our eye opener for today. A great challenge for people who feel uncomfortable with it. But we're going to get moving. Actually, before we get moving into our show, we're going to actually take a look at some of the big moments from yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of the Commission of Inquiry into the sale of government assets, and this is over a 13-month period. It was televised live. It was it's a commission of 3, headed by Andrew Marshallek, and we have a representative of the PSU, I'm sorry, and of the business sector. So there are 3 representatives who are trying to get the details about the sales that took place in 2019 leading into 2020. And so it's quite revealing. Did you manage to catch parts of it?
Well, while it was happening, no, but I ended up reading and I saw a few clips, you know, that were just posted online, and I think that it was an interesting beginning, especially having begun with the former Prime Minister being the first witness. But I think that it's definitely a matter that people should pay attention to. And you know, listening to. I mean, I read a bit of what former Prime Minister Dean Barrows said and what the Financial Secretary said, and I think that it's a start because it's an interesting start. One, politically for the new administration, and also I think that, especially coming off of the heels of the last election, a lot of you know, the public's concerns were about accountability over certain things. And I think that this is perhaps one way that the new administration is perhaps trying to go about that, starting the process of, you know, not only doing the work of the government, the daily work of the government, but also trying to see if we can, you know, institute some measures to, you know, listen to give to what's the word I want to use? The word to satisfy the public in terms of that, but also moving forward to see what we can do to put measures in place or something to avoid some of, you know, the issues that do plague any government administration.
So we're going to take a look back at, you know, there was the former Prime Minister who was the first witness to be summoned, and I think he spoke quite openly about the political traditions that have been in place. In fact, you know, I know when you talk in public, it's like, oh, they've been doing that a long time. They always do that. I hear of so-and-so who got this and so-and-so. Everyone has their story. And I think that was partially outlined in his presentation. But when you dive into the details of it, which is what the Financial Secretary, Joseph Waite, was pressed on, we get to hear a bit more about some of those revelations. So we're going to take a look at that at this moment. We'll come back and kind of just chit-chat about it.
It may be, if you will forgive me, what is meant to be a light-hearted comment, It may have been that in some cases, departments and ministries were a little too eager to treat vehicles as unserviceable and to write them off. Because the corollary to a write-off by a ministry or department was that they would require a replacement.
The total number of vehicles sold during the period was 112.
112. And what was the total price?
You got me there. They're all listed.
Yes. I just wanted an idea of the amount of revenue that was involved.
I would say about $300,000 or so, maybe a little more. I didn't have the total. I didn't have the total, but it's here. Okay?
Understood.
Yeah. In addition to the vehicles, there was, I think, 9 laptops, and then the package of furniture, including the 2 items, to the Honorable Attorney General. In reviewing the list, I didn't see any member of the Ministry of Finance, nor did I see any member of the Vehicle Care Assets Unit. However, that would not prohibit them from buying a vehicle if it was for sale. Anybody can make a bid on a vehicle.
Of the 112 vehicles that were sold over the course of the year, how many were sold after Parliament was dissolved in October, in the last month leading up to the election?
I would say about a dozen.
About a dozen. So most of the sales took place in the year before, in the period running up before?
Well before. In fact, sometime in July, there was a Nissan X-Trail for one Kenroy Sanchez at $1,200.
What's the name? Sorry, I'm trying to
Kenroy Sanchez.
Kenroy Sanchez. For how much?
$1,200.
$1,200.
Right, $1,200. There's a Jeffrey Gabriel, 28th of September, a Volkswagen Jetta, a 2007. The X-Trail was a 2013 model. There is a sale to a Doyle Gillette.
The Jeffrey Gabriel was for how much?
$700, I'm sorry.
$700.
There was a sale to a Doyle Gillette on the 28th of September of a 2003 Chevrolet Duramax. Duramax for $3,000.
$3,000?
There was a sale to a Jamal Smith on the 28th of September of a 1995 Nissan pickup truck for $1,200.
These prices would be inclusive of duties and taxes?
Right, because they were larger and serviceable, yeah.
Okay.
Then there is, I said Jamal Smith?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
You stopped at the 1995 Nissan Jamal Smith, $1,200.
There is an Elias Gongara, the 28th of September. There was a batch done at that date. 2007 Hayase van. And that was
Highs.
Thank you. $200.
$200.
I think that was a crash vehicle. On the 28th of September, there was a sale of 8 unserviceable ATVs. I guess
8 ATVs.
Yeah. 8 ATVs, all-terrain vehicles, I believe they're called. For total price of $1,600 for the 8.
$1,600 for 8 ATVs.
Yeah.
And who were they sold to?
To Colin Swayze.
Colin Swayze. The government service uses ATVs.
I believe these are
Polarises from police.
No. I think these were. We received these and a donation from the government of India for some little tricycles. I believe them. I don't know.
All right. Well,
Okay. The police don't have Polarises as far as I am aware.
I thought so.
I don't know. one or two.
Which is the next one on your list?
Okay, again, the 28th of September, there was a Jason Neal, 2 unserviceable ATVs for $400. And then on the 28th of September, there was a Balthazar Goodger, G-O-D.
Balthazar Goodger.
Okay. A 1993 Jeep Cherokee for $1,250. And these have a notation that they're all scrapped and they're cannibalized.
Yes.
That is, these ATVs and so. Then in October, there was, what do you have here? In October, on the 10th of October, there was all right, I'll take them as they come. On the 14th of October, there was a sale of to an Art Diaz, A-R-T, Art Diaz, of a 2019 Skygo motorcycle for $100.
That one was verified? Any inquiries made by you?
It must have been crashed. I can't.
Well, it seems pretty new for $100.
Yeah, I can find more detail on it. It's in the file. Huh? Okay.
The next one?
Next one was on the 7th of October. The vehicle to Justice Sosa, the 2008 Land Cruiser, for $10,385.
Yeah.
And so, sort of as we were saying before we cut to that clip, it's the purpose of it is to investigate the sales of a lot of government assets that took place, starting in 2019 to 2020. And I think that one of the things that is important about having such a thing in such a public way, holding the whole inquiry so you can hear all of the details, is because a lot of the time, a lot of what goes on, in sort of these government institutions is unknown to the public. And the former Prime Minister, as you mentioned, had talked about certain practices and traditions and things which exist from previous administrations, and it's developed over the years, but the public doesn't really know that. And especially when we are in such hard financial times, especially everything's just been exposed and magnified and made even worse by the pandemic. When the current Prime Minister and the current administration is always talking about the difficulties and there's clearly a lot going on, and I think exposing, trying to find where everything, why, or giving context, that's what I want to say. For part of the reasons why things have been the way they've been and things have gone the way they are, I think that something like this shows perhaps lots of ways in which we can improve, that we can run a tighter ship, that and clearly the situation needs to be more, there needs to be more oversight. And when you hear, it's shocking when you hear figures, that things are sold for as little as $700, $200, and we know, and all of us know the price of vehicles, for example, and motorcycles and ATVs. We know that they're not cheap things. So to hear them being sold for such low prices, and when you think that at the end of the day, this is what was, these assets were bought with taxpayers' money, and then they're going, they're being sold privately.
No value,
so what are we getting for?
Yeah, I think the total is 112 vehicles that were sold over the 13-month period, and somewhere like 300,000 was collected. I've seen some people say, oh, this is small, go after bigger issues, blah, blah, blah. But I think that one of the things, and we were talking about it while the clip was running, there's certain things that we all identify with, and we all know the cost of transportation, whether it is that you have purchased a car, took out a loan to purchase a car, whether you are struggling with maintaining the upkeep of your car, whether you're paying for public transportation, aspiring to purchase a vehicle. These are big financial decisions that we make, and oftentimes, and I think that hearing how some have been able to benefit just because of connections that they have or links that they have within the government structure is one that particularly makes people irate. We understand it, we have a concept of the actual value, and so when we hear the numbers, we know exactly where, quite frankly, you know, the belief that we as a country were cheated. Now, the issue here for me is really being able to understand what type of due diligence was done to ensure that these vehicles were in fact not serviceable, because that seems to be the blanket statement that is said. You know, we can sit here and assume, and some may say safely, that it's probably not all that were unserviceable, but that's what has to be investigated further. But the core of the issue for me, Gavin, is that we are not naive to say that these things have not been happening for a long time. And when the Prime Minister sets a backdrop of the political tradition, I think that that's actually true. But the point is that when do we move from these types of practices where a few people get the opportunity, they purchase, but the opportunity that others are not allowed to access. I know many people who probably have a $200 car mechanic bill right now who are just thinking, man, I could buy a brand new car for that. Not brand new, but a better car for that. And trying to figure out where that money will come from. Somebody who's, you know, maybe just playing with the battery pulls or hitting their starter or something this morning, who will understand why it's unfair, because they've paid fair value for their purchase, where others have not been allowed to do the same. And I think that this is where having it publicly, people will be able to see and understand for themselves just what has been happening. And the point is, there has to be a point where it stops.
No, absolutely. That's what I think. And I think that it's easy to want to write off something like this as saying, okay, well, now there's the new party is in power, so they're going to go after the old party. And I don't think that that's really the takeaway. I think the biggest thing is the exposure of what actually does go on behind some of the scenes. And so that once we know what we're doing and once the public knows, you know, then we can start making meaningful changes and demanding better. And you know, holding people accountable ultimately, because eventually, you know, what I think most people want to see is, you know, to avoid things like this, because we hear it happening not only with things like vehicles. I mean, there have been countless stories about land, about this, about other things that are just being sold at, you know, bottom dollar prices, so that, you know, moving forward, we can put things in place to avoid that, and so that, you know, there's more oversight and that taxpayers' money is spent, you know, properly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the commission will resume at the end of the month again, and they will continue with their investigation, and once again, that will be live, so we'll see what comes out as they continue. But that's our recap of the big stories from yesterday, but we got to get moving into our show. And today's Tuesday, which means it's another edition of Meet the Mayoral Candidate.
Yep, so keeping in things in the sort of political realm, we are going to be hearing from the two candidates who are vying for the position of Mayor of Belmopan. And this is pretty interesting, of course, because both mayoral candidates are women.
That's right. So we're going to be focusing on the city of Belmopan in our introductory interviews with mayoral candidates. And then we are going to be talking about opportunities for people to study at Acadia University in Canada. We'll get all the details about it, what they're offering, and how you can apply.
Yep. But before we go to a break, we do have a birthday shout out to give this morning. So from all of us at Open Your Eyes on Channel 5, we want to wish a very happy birthday to Cristel Lopez. So Cristel, hope you have a great day, and we wish you many more, and happy birthday once again.
All
And so with that, we are going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we are going to be giving you our Meet the Mayoral candidate segment, and we'll be joined by the UDP's candidate for Mayor of Belmopan, Jacqueline Burns. So please stay tuned.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
Keeping safe from COVID-19 at your workplace requires 100% teamwork. You can keep earning while keeping yourself and others safe by doing some basic things. Wear a face mask at all times in the workplace unless you are alone in your own private space or office. Wash your hands frequently or utilize alcohol-based hand sanitizers and avoid touching your face. Disinfect surfaces like doorknobs, tables, desks, and handrails regularly. Increase ventilation by opening windows or adjusting air conditioning. Limit visitors and deliveries to the workplace and use appointments where possible. Attend meetings virtually as much as possible, and when not possible, hold meetings in open, well-ventilated spaces or rooms that allow for everyone to be 6 feet apart. Stay at home if you or a family member at home are feeling sick, or if you have been in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Keeping the workplace safe also requires that employees act responsibly when away from work. Practice social distancing and good hand washing hygiene. Avoid large gatherings and avoid unnecessary exposure to others. Protecting others means protecting yourself. Together, we can defeat COVID.
In partnership with the British High Commission.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
And we're back, and we of course are bringing you our Meet the Mayoral candidates. We're getting our first conversation started for this morning, and joining us for this conversation we have the United Democratic Party's candidate for Mayor of Belmopan, Miss Jacqueline Burns. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Marlene and Gavin.
How are you doing this morning, Jacqueline?
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, in Belmopan, and it's quite cozy. Thank God for the little rain last night.
No, absolutely. Right here in the city too. All right, so before we start talking about politics, Jacqueline, let's introduce our viewers to a little bit about who you are as a person, where you grew up. Let the viewers know who you are.
Okay, so my name is Jackie Burns. I prefer to be called Jackie. I'm an English teacher at Belmopan Comprehensive School. I've been a teacher for 23 years. I have grown up primarily in Belmopan, or most of the time I've spent in Belmopan since 1987. So my formative years were spent here. I've been very involved in community work. I'm a poet. I enjoy working with young people, and I've been a Belmopan City Councillor for 2 terms.
So, okay, now let's talk a little bit about the decision to enter the race as for mayor. What made you decide to make that big step?
Having been around politics for 6 years, I've learned the challenges. I've learned the ins and outs of having to lead this city. I am in love with Belmopan, and I love helping people. And I was approached to ask to be the mayoral candidate. And initially, I stepped back. And this was because I was doing my studies. I was writing my thesis for my master's degree. And then when I was asked a second time, and I said yes. I said, okay, let me try this.
What was your hesitation?
My hesitation was that I was writing my thesis.
That you wouldn't have the time.
I wanted to give it all that I could have. I'm finished with that now, by the way.
So, you know, what do you think are the qualities that the team sees in you that makes them feel that you are fit to be the leader of the slate?
I do have very strong leadership skills. I do get involved in community work a lot. I do have a passion for doing the things that I do in Belmopan. I have versatile skills. I'm involved in a plethora of different subheadings. I'm involved in youth programs, women programs. I'm involved with whatever it takes. I can fit in any situation that I might be invited to, you know, participate in.
Now, your party has had a stronghold on that municipality for a very long time. You served for 2 terms as a councillor, but even before that, the UDP was in fact heading up that municipality. How do you see that as a strength or weakness going into this election?
I see it as a strength for sure, in that a lot of work has been done to build this city. Belmopan, if you visit it from one time to the next, you will see the city's development is very visible. Mm-hmm. And I've had commendations from people who come in Belmopan maybe once a year, maybe every 6 months, that Belmopan is really expanding. Belmopan is really developing. And so it's something that people appreciate, and I think they support.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about your vision for Belmopan? Once, having been a councillor for so long, now choosing to take up the mantle as mayor, can you talk about, you know, where you see continuing the work and a bit of your vision for where the city is going to go under your leadership?
Okay, so our manifesto is broken up into 3 sections. There's a go big, there's the go small, and there's the go forward. And so under the go big, we're looking at projects that we can continue to build this city, so much so that people feel the change, the development, the progress. And under that program, we're looking at getting people more community-minded, more close-knit in Belmopan. We do have some disjointed sections of the city, and so we're looking at family-oriented activities, activities that would get our residents from different areas communicating. Some of these include the possibility of building a 200-seat theater in Belmopan and having it facilitate trainings in the arts, having it facilitate stuff like what the Bliss in Belize City does, and that's because we have a lot of individuals in our city who are really talented and gifted and want an avenue for them to share their talent. We have a lot going on for academics in Belmopan, but we need some training, some hands-on trainings for those young people who are so inclined. Under the Go Small, we're looking at park projects. A lot of the residents feel that our parks in Belmopan need to be a bit more family friendly, a little bit more inviting. And so we're looking at park projects, we're looking at daycare facilities for senior citizens. And this is because Belmopan is a retirement home, is a spot where a lot of people come to retire. And then we have the public servants. So their family members leave to work and the senior citizens are left at home alone and with nothing to do. We want to train people to care for senior citizens, as we see a demand for it more and more. And this will create jobs, which is something that is rather urgent in our city as well. Yeah. Under the Go Forward, we want to continue the infrastructural works we've been doing. We want to continue building on fixing our streets, picking up our garbage, establishing a proper debris collection for Belmopan so that our residents see that, you know, the council is doing what it's supposed to do, its basic duties.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been out on the campaign trail and you've been meeting with residents. I know people have been trying to use different mediums as well, but tell me a bit about the feedback that you're getting when you go out.
The feedback has been that people have been very welcoming, especially in a time when we have to adhere to the COVID measures. We find that the residents have been warm. They come out, they accept our visit, they engage us in conversation. We find out their concerns. Many of them share with us, and we make notes of them. We talk to them about our neighborhood watch programs that we hope to establish in Belmopan. Some of the neighborhoods already have active programs, but their neighborhood watches have gone a bit dormant. And so we engage in that type of conversation. Belmopan people don't really, they engage anybody who might come to have a conversation with them. They're that welcoming, and so we appreciate that we've been welcomed in many, many homes.
Yeah. And you said, you know, I'm sure there are people who welcome you in and people who are supportive, but what about the complaints that they may have, especially knowing that you are currently on the council?
Yes, quite a few complaints, especially since, you know, we've experienced the challenges of COVID too, as it pertains to the collection of finances at Belmopan City Council, as is the same for all councils across the board. And so obviously some of the things that we did prior have not been as much as we've been doing of recent. The council, in fact, has experienced a huge deficit in the amount of collections, and so we've had to make adjustments, just like you have had to do for your family where you've lost income. And so we've prioritized a lot of the services that we offer, and we've had to have the conversation with the residents and tell them, you know what, we're looking at how best we can move forward with the recognition that our collections haven't been the same. And these are our plans. And what do you think about this idea? And so we've pitched several ideas. The residents, for the most part, have been very receptive and understanding of our current situation. And so I think that we should do just fine moving forward. Basically, what the residents want is for their services to be delivered.
And you touch on a very critical point. It's something that all municipalities will be facing, and that is the fallout of the economic impact of the pandemic. What are your plans in being able to generate the necessary finances to be able to fulfill the manifesto that you just presented?
Yes. My team and I have had to sit down and look at how creative we would have to get in order to make real the plans that we've established. And some of the ideas that we've come up with includes the creation of jobs. And we've identified areas where we can actually create jobs for yes, some of our young people in the city. We've also looked at writing proposals, business proposals. There's quite a bit that's available to our municipal, our local government. We've established sister city relationships with 2 cities so far, and the sister city relationships have brought benefits to Belmopan. And so we want to continue working with our sister cities. As well, under this last term, we've had at least 3 sets of investors that have come to Belmopan and looked at where their investments would go and what the possibilities have been. And we want to continue the dialogue with these individuals. We have a very good relationship with individuals from the US, individuals from Mexico, and Taiwan as well. As I've said before, sister relationship, one of our sister relationships is with Taipei, Taiwan.
And on the issue of finances as well, that also brings up the issue of how you, if you're successful, plan to work along with the central government to achieve some of your goals, especially in the context where the central government now is of the different political party. So how do you think you'll be able to work along with them to achieve some of your goals for Belmopan?
You know, one of the things I know is that once the political season is over, it should be over. And we're serving Belmopan, we're serving Belize. We all want to see the betterment of our capital city. We want to see the betterment of our country. And so where politics is concerned, I believe it's the race that you get in. But once somebody's elected, I think first we need to set the political colors aside and get to work. Other than that, though, I do think that Orange Walk Council, for instance, has survived under a UDP-led government. And I think that once it has been illustrated that it has been done, we are up for the challenge. My team and I, we're up for the challenge.
Jackie, how do you served under Mayor Khalid Bilal, and now you're stepping out on your own as a new mayoral candidate. How do you differentiate yourself as to what your leadership style will be like?
Okay. Under Mayor Bilal, I've served as the deputy mayor for a year. And one of the things I always say about Mayor is that he gives his councillors enough rein to take on their leadership. We know our portfolios, and we're given we come up with our projects and we take the lead on that. He's never been one of those leaders who have micromanaged anything. I've been that councillor that when somebody's not available, I fit in. I've been the councillor as well that is called upon maybe 5 minutes before time and say, you know what, Mayor can't make it, and so can you please go and can you please attend? I think that has given me enough experience to be able to feel competent in my ability to lead this city. I have gotten a lot of support along the way. My leadership style, I guess, would perhaps be a little more personal because I'm a people person. I like communicating with people. I like trying to help people, and this isn't a political part of me. This is precisely who I am. I've grown up to be this way. And so I come from very humble beginnings. I come from very warm people. And as a result of that, people, I guess, get to know me to be that person and feel free to approach me. We are campaigning on putting people first, and that's precisely the type of person I am. So I think that we should have no problem going forward in terms of how the residents of Belmopan would see their mayor leading this city. For us and for the entire team, the vision is, yes, listening to the residents and identifying what is their most urgent need and see how we can resolve the issues for them.
So let me ask a question. There are 3 mayoral candidates. There is an independent, your prior city administrator, who's running for office as well, running as a mayoral candidate.
Yes.
You know, I would say naturally you would think that the independent is eliminated, but Belmopan is always an anomaly in that area. But looking at the bigger picture, it may potentially be the first female elected as the mayor in Belmopan, whether it goes blue or red. What does that mean for you?
It means that we have already won. It means that we have already won because before getting involved in politics, I did a part of the UNDP training where we talked about women in leadership. And I know that one of the projects across the board has been wanting to get the 30% quota of women in government, women representation. And I feel that it is high time that we put our women forward and that we send the message that women can lead. I'm one of 9 mayoral candidates for my party, and I'm the one female that is running on behalf of the UDP. And so it's not something that I take very lightly. The commitment has had to have been very hard, but I do not complain. I do not try to make it anything other than positive, because guess what? We have already won for Belmopan, and so I congratulate the city. I'm not, of course, undermining the candidacy of Ralston Fraser, the independent candidate. However, I would like to see a female on that seat.
Now, earlier you were speaking about your manifesto and some of your plans, but I'm interested to know, we are in hard times and it is COVID, so what would you say is the #1 priority for you that you would want to deliver if you're successful?
Okay, my team and I have identified our plans, and I'm sure that when we're elected, we will sit together as a team and prioritize our plans. But if you were to ask me, one of the first things that I would like to get straightened out, should we be successful, is getting our services up to par in terms of what the City Council delivers. As I've indicated to you, some of our services have fallen behind because of the falling collections, and so regularizing what we have had in the past. I want to get back to that. I think it comes both ways, twofold, because our residents need to take serious the responsibility of their taxes. And so we're going to look at what we have outstanding, and there's quite a bit that is outstanding in Belmopan. And so maybe starting a conversation with the residents, as to how we can get them to commit even a little at a time, their finances to keep their bills paid up, as well as, focusing on the garbage collection, the debris collection, the drainage, the street works. These are things that are day-to-day services that are offered in Belmopan. And we want to ensure that we're providing at least the basic services for our residents. My team is very hardworking. As you have seen in some of the pictures, we've done some community work as a team already, where we went to the Las Flores Park, for instance, and we gave it a little facelift. Nothing major, but some work and some improvement means a lot in Belmopan. We have had barbecue fundraisers on behalf of our campaign. We weren't given the gold spoon, right? And so we've had to put in the work, not only on the campaign trail, but when it comes to being creative about fundraising and so on, we've had to do that. And that means that we're committed to, yes, our campaign, as well as we're committed to the city of Belmopan. If we are putting in the work now and doing what is required for us to run this campaign. I think we can put in the work and do what is required to run this city. I like the willingness of the team. I like the commitment. I like that no task seemed too colossal for this team. And so we want to go forward with that same mantra.
Yeah, and since you bring that up, tell our viewers a little bit about your team.
I feel like this is one of the most amazing teams. We are going on the Team Jackie for Mayor. And so it features 2017's Miss Belmopan, DeAndre Martinez, who is a young person. She's a UB student pursuing a bachelor's degree, but very active among the youths in her community. She's energized. DeAndre comes up with projects for Belmopan and just say, hey, I have an idea. And so I'm really elated to have her on the team. Next, in terms of a new councillor candidate, is Miss Chrissy Chacon. And Chrissy hails from Las Flores, and she owns a diner. And so, that might hit you off as, okay, this person is a business person, but Chrissy has been so busy in her community, in her neighborhood, advocating on behalf of the school, wanting the futsal in her area cleaned down for the residents to be able to use it. She has come up with projects for Las Flores until at one point I had to say, Chrissy, we need to look at the other parts of the city. And it is that she has a passion for the area where she lives. And already Chrissy has outlined future projects that she wants to see executed, not only in Las Flores, but in Central Belmopan as well. So it's an honor to have Chrissy. And then the next female is Mrs. Louise Willis, who is a returning councillor candidate. And Mrs. Willis has been a senior superintendent of police. She has served over 20 years in the police service, and she says that she has served the length and breadth of Belize, quite disciplined. I call her the anchor of the team because she's the one who will speak wisdom into what's going on. She always sees things in a logical manner, and she's very good with guidance, with suggestions, with the more mature ideas. She's worked very actively with her citizens in Belmopan, and she is particularly engaged with her senior citizens as she visits them in their homes, especially the ones who live on their own. And so we know that Mrs. Willis is a wonderful member of this team. Other than the ladies, we have the gentlemen. And in terms of new coming councillor candidates, we have Victor Chiki Oriana, and Victor hails from the San Martin area. He's an electrician by trade, but has been very active in sports in Belmopan. And he's very passionate about football and organizing football tournaments, as well as billiards tournaments that he's organized. One of his visions for the city is getting our young people to compete neighborhood by neighborhood so as to establish, relationships between these young people, and that they get to know each other, so that, Belmopan becomes one big city where we're able to interact.
Jackie,
Yes.
allow me to interrupt. It's just that we're running out of time and we're trying to be balanced in the amount of time we give each candidate. So you can quickly tell us about the last two and also do your final pitch. Yeah.
Other than that, we have Leslie Zelaya. He recently opened a tacos business. He's very, very passionate about the city as well, and has been known to be cutting the grass in Belmopan. So we really like having Leslie. And then we have Paul Piochon, who's a vice principal at Garden City Primary School and a returning councillor candidate.
And a minute for you to tell Belmopan residents why you feel you were best fit for the job.
Belmopan knows me. Belmopan knows how genuine I've been, how committed I've been to this city. They know that when they elect me and my team for running this city, that they will get quality service, that they won't get somebody that they cannot reach in order to have a conversation. And so Belmopan, I invite you to support Team Jackie for Mayor on March 3rd. And I also want to invite you to peruse our website. It has our bios, as well as it has our manifesto with our plans for the city. And so you can go on www.jackie4mayor.com. And so you can check out our manifesto. Thank you, Marlene and Gavin, for having me. Thank you for the good conversation to start my morning.
All right, and thank you for joining us as well. Stay safe on that campaign trail.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we will keep our focus on the Garden City, and we will be talking with the PUP mayoral candidate after the break.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite VoIP calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment, our new PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBS. Actually, right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. Put that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
The virus that causes COVID-19 may be spreading in our community. People might have the disease even if they have no symptoms at all, even when they look healthy. Because the virus needs us to spread from one person to another, we can stop it from infecting others if we practice physical distancing. That means stay at least 6 feet away from other persons. Don't shake hands or exchange hugs. Do not gather in groups. Stay home if government officials tell you to do so. Use social media or telephone to communicate. Avoid crowded and enclosed spaces. Work from home if you can. Stay home if you are sick, except to get medical care. Avoid close contact with sick people. Don't visit anyone who's sick in quarantine or in isolation. Give them a call instead. Help keep Belize safe.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there. We know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Belize has the highest population of the Antillean manatee in the world, and we'd like to keep it that way.
The Sea to Shore Alliance and our partners have been fighting to protect our environment and these endangered manatees.
Each year, however, their death rate continues to increase rapidly due to watercraft collision, destruction of coastal habitat, entanglement in fishing gears, garbage pollution, and poaching. Yes, poaching.
These animals are in dire trouble and they need our help.
It's our responsibility as Belizeans to protect what belongs to us.
In order to create a safe environment and future for our aquatic friends, we must act now.
Respecting no-wake zones and manatee habitat is important.
Practice sustainable fishing methods and properly discard damaged fishing gear.
People throw garbage everywhere, except in the garbage can.
Garbage stops here.
When we safeguard important habitats such as mangroves, seagrass beds, the barrier reef, and our marine lives, we are safeguarding our livelihoods.
I want you to look after my future. What about me?
When I grow up, I want to see manatees.
We are asking for your support, and we thank you for recognizing the importance of manatees and their habitats.
Thank you for caring.
Big thank you from our aquatic friends.
I am a humanitarian.
I am a humanitarian.
We are humanitarians.
Protect.
Protect.
We protect.
We should protect our manatees.
We must protect them.
Protect what belongs to us. Protect ours.
Protect humanity's beliefs.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, won't even try.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gonna try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gonna try. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. People die every day, I'm not going with ya. I'ma find my own way, I'm not going with ya. It's okay, I'll wait. Even good people make mistakes. I don't wanna realize when it's too late. Drinking and driving is never safe. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gonna try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gonna try.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
And we are back. And if you're joining us right now, we're getting our second conversation for this morning started. And right now we're going to be shifting gears from politics, and we're going to be talking all about recruitment for Belizeans that's going on at Acadia University in Canada. And from Acadia University, we've got joining us for this conversation Tony Adey, joining us via Zoom. Good morning, Tony.
Hello, good morning to everyone down there in beautiful Belize. I'm certainly missing my trips to Belize this year with the COVID-19 pandemic happening. Hope everyone's doing well down there.
Yeah, we are, and we hope that you're doing well up there too. So why don't we just start by for some of our viewers who may be unfamiliar or maybe need a refresher, talking just a little bit about Acadia University, what it is, what it's all about, and so if anybody's never heard of it, Tony, you can take it from there and describe what the university is.
Sure, yeah, awesome. So first of all, I guess I'll just jump in by talking a little bit about myself.
Sure.
I've got about 14, 15 years experience traveling to Belize and working with Belizean youth and helping them make their pathway to study in Canada. So I joined Acadia University in 2019. Prior to that, I worked for another Canadian university. But Acadia University, in particular, for me, is a really great fit for Belizean youth. And that's one of the reasons why I've been bringing Acadia so strongly to Belize. We've opened an office in Belize for admissions purposes, for example. But Acadia itself, for those students that aren't aware of Acadia or have not heard of it before, we've got a long and very storied history in Canada. We were opened in 1838, which is about 183 years ago. So we're one of Canada's oldest universities. But some of our claims to fame, of course, is that we're ranked top 3 undergraduate university across the country, but we're also ranked the #1 undergraduate university in the province of Nova Scotia. So Acadia itself has a very long history. We've been known to make many successful individuals that have gone on to become members of parliament, almost became a prime minister last year, for example. So we're a fantastic university with about 200 different program options for students to choose from. So lots and lots to offer students. Population-wise, we have about 4,000 students studying at Acadia, and about 550 of those are international students from all around the world as well. So we're also quite a diverse university as well.
Yeah. Now, you said that you've been regularly coming to Belize and you feel that this is that Acadia University is a great fit. Why is that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So out on the east coast of Canada, for folks who haven't been to Canada before, we're quite, our culture is very similar to what you would experience in Belize. People know each other by name, people look out for each other, those sorts of things. So what I find often when I travel to Belize is that I feel like I'm at home. So I normally go to Belize 2 or 3 times a year, of course, before the pandemic hit. And I find that I'm quite at home in Belize. And then on the contrary to that, when our Belizean youth come to study in Eastern Canada, they feel very much the same when they come here as well. You know, Eastern Canada is the type of place where if you're traveling, if you walk to the grocery store to get some groceries and the rain starts, a Canadian might pull over and offer you a ride back to the residence on campus so you don't get wet when you're raining, those sorts of things, for example. So it's a friendly sort of culture where everyone looks out to each other. And I think that that's very much something that translates from both Belize, but also over to Eastern Canada as well.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the academic programs that you offer and that you may be known for?
Yeah, so we have 4 different faculties at Acadia. So we have our Faculty of Pure and Applied Science. And Pure and Applied Science, of course, would house programs such as your pure sciences like physics, biology, chemistry, those sorts of things. We also have a Faculty of Arts, which is sort of the foundational base of Acadia's founding in 1838. We have our Faculty of Professional Studies, where you'll find programs like engineering, kinesiology, community development, those sorts of things. And then our 4th faculty is our Faculty of Theology. Originally, Acadia was founded by those of the Baptist faith in 1838, and we still do have a non-denominational chapel on campus, and we still do have our founding roots, the Acadia Divinity College, on campus as well. So over 200 different degree combinations that you can choose from, so a wide variety of both majors and minors. So I'm confident that we have the majority of programs that students would be looking for. A really interesting point of Acadia as well is that we do offer students the opportunity to take undergraduate courses in health sciences areas, which can be a catapult to getting those students onto things like medicine, dentistry, ophthalmology, those sorts of things as well.
Yeah. And how many Belizeans have you had at the university so far?
That's a fantastic question. So in my about 15 years traveling to Belize, I've helped over 200 students travel to Canada and study in Canada. Last year was my first sort of foray as an Acadia recruiter into Belize. So we have about 8 Belizeans right now studying at Acadia. We have a number of Belizeans also studying with us as well online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They weren't able to physically travel to campus. And right now we are hosting an event tomorrow night, and we have over 80 Belizeans sign up to participate in that particular event as well. So interest is really, really high, and we want to encourage students to attend the event tomorrow night so that they can learn more about our scholarships and our academic awards and all those sorts of things.
So let's talk about that part, because, you know, there can be a lot of interest in wanting to study outside of the country, but it's not always financially feasible. What are the scholarships that are available, and, you know, how many people will be able to access them?
Sure. I think it's important to note here sort of a two-pronged approach to this question. So most students might be used to thinking about the United States as a potential educational destination for their post-secondary studies, but Canada is quickly becoming more and more popular as a destination for international students. And there are really 2 reasons for that. One is the cost of study. So on average, Canadian universities cost about $20,000 to $30,000 US dollars, that is, on average to study, both for academics, the tuition, the fees, the housing, all those sorts of things. That is about half the cost of what it costs to study in the United States. Another advantage of studying in Canada is that while you study, you can work. So you can actually work to offset the cost of those post-secondary expenses. But of course, to your first point around tuition and fees, Acadia itself, we offer about $4 million a year in scholarships, and those can both go to Canadian and international students. So I'll give you a quick overview of how much it costs to study at Acadia. So we're about $15,000 US dollars per year for tuition. That's for all of the tuition and fees. And then we're about $8,000 roughly in US dollars for the housing. So it's, you know, about $28,000 US dollars for a full cost of study for a full year. Now, that's without a scholarship or financial aid. So at Acadia, we offer scholarships that range anywhere from $500 US dollars all the way up to about $12,000 US dollars, which is about half the cost of a year of study. And for students who have demonstrated financial need as well and high grades, we may be able to offset that cost with needs-based bursaries as well. So we have had some students, international students, studying with us at Acadia for, you know, in the $8,000 to $15,000 US range, all in cost per year as well, which is quite affordable compared to some other universities across North America. And I can assure you, we're actually the most highly ranked university in North America with the lowest cost. So reputable institution with a very affordable cost to study.
And if people are interested in learning more about Acadia and some of these opportunities, where's the best place to find some of that info?
Yeah, so we believe in making this really accessible for Belizean youth. So we've actually opened an office down there in Belize. So our office is managed by M Business Solutions. That's at 10 Taiwan Street in downtown Belize. We have a WhatsApp number. So the number is 670-5706. So contact us on WhatsApp locally, 670-5706. If you prefer to call the traditional landline, you can also call 223-6766 and get more information. So we have an office running in Belize right now where you can get lots of questions. They'll put you in touch with me as well. Tomorrow night, we're actually hosting an event. So it's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Belize time, an event specifically online hosted by yours truly, all about Acadia University, where you can get a lot more information about tuition, scholarships, financial aid, those sorts of things. The registration link is available on the website, or you can also see it on your screen there as well. So head over to Google. It's the easiest way to find us. Google Acadia University Future Students, and you'll also be able to find the registration link as well. But by all means, we encourage lots of Belizean youth to attend tomorrow night. Like I said, we have over 80 students signed up for this event already. So I know there's a lot of interest, and I'm hoping some of your viewers here this morning can join us as well.
And what's happening at the school at this time? Are your campuses open?
That's a great question. So out here in Eastern Canada, we took the COVID-19 pandemic very seriously. So Acadia University is one of the few universities in Canada that actually opened during this pandemic. Our residences are open. We have students living in the residences. We have students taking class right now. We've been fortunate enough through all of our procedures and our protocols and our quarantines that we've had only one positive case at Acadia since the beginning of COVID-19. So both Acadia University and the community of Wolfville, where it's housed, have taken this very, very seriously, and our campus has been very safe throughout all of this. Of course, a lot of faculty and staff are teaching from home. I'm in my home living room right now because we do try to reduce the visits to campus to keep our student population safe.
And so for new students who will enroll this year, will they be able to travel to Canada for school to start the semester?
Yeah, so the Government of Canada has made significant changes now allowing international students to join. So in the previous September start date, students were not able to cross the border because there was so much uncertainty with the pandemic. Since then, though, since about late November, early December, students with a bona fide reason for entering the country, including full-time study, can receive an exemption to travel to Canada and cross the border into the country. There is a quarantine on arrival, which lasts for 14 days. And then after the student completes their quarantine and, of course, receives negative COVID-19 test, then they are released into the campus where they can go on with their regular student lives, both in the campus and in the community as well.
What's you know, for people who are watching and they're trying to gauge whether or not Acadia is the right fit for them, what's your most popular program, academic program that people would seek at your university?
We're very well known for our Faculty of Arts, to be honest. That was our founding faculty since the 1800s. So a lot of students do opt to come and study with us in things like folklore, sociology, religious studies, those sorts of things as well. However, a few of our very popular programs, which are often oversubscribed, difficult to get admission to, would be kinesiology. Our engineering program as well is quite popular. And then because of our research focus on the science side, we're quite popular in the sciences as well. Programs in things like agriculture, for example. We're getting into biopharmaceuticals lately, those sorts of things. So really, if I could be honest, our students are across a wide swath of different programs in all different faculties.
And you know, the acceptance rate. So we talk about affordability, we talk about the fact that you are open and wanting to expand the population of international students, but what about how difficult it is to get accepted to the university?
Sure, we take, because we're a smaller university with just 4,000 students and we're working with about 600 to 800 new registrants each year, we can take a really personalized approach to doing admissions. So that's one of the reasons why we've opened our office down there in Belize, and please, I encourage Belizeans to reach out to our office there to get help. Basically, we would sit down with you and we would have a look at your academic transcript. So before putting a student through the admissions process, we would have some conversations about what the student's academic history is, what the financial need might be, and those sorts of things, so that we can have an honest conversation with the family. That's a big part for us in giving students admission. So in most cases, if we have that discussion and we encourage students to move on with the application, then their application is approved. So our success rate in getting students admitted is actually quite high. It's in the 80%, 80 to 90% range, depending on the year. But with that said, our average admission, our sort of overall most popular admissions average for students getting into the university is usually about an 85 to an 87. So students that are entering the university, a large percentage of them are scholarship recipients because our incoming class has very successful and high averages. Now, I should note that Belize is a little bit of an outlier because for admission to Acadia University from Belize, we do require that students have at least 1 year of sixth form. So students have that year of junior college under their belt before they apply to Acadia, and that makes them all the more successful when they come study with us. And then along the same vein, every course that a student studies in sixth form, whether that be at SJCJC or Muffles or Ecumenical, for example, will qualify for transfer credit. So if a student has done an associate's degree in Belize, then when they transfer to us here at Acadia, they may be able to get a year's worth, 2 years, sometimes even 2.5 years worth of academic credit towards their studies. So their degree with us could be even further less than 4 years. So you might be looking at a degree completion of 2 years or 2.5 years as opposed to 4.
Wow, okay. And so what's the application? You have your event tomorrow to kind of help people understand and ask their questions directly. But what's the application period for the upcoming semester?
Great question. So our application deadlines are basically rolling, but March the 1st is our firmest deadline. So you need to apply to the university, submit all of your documentation, and submit your applications for student bursaries and scholarships by March the 1st. After March 1st, we take about 2 weeks to look through our scholarship pool, and then around March the 17th week, we'll take a look at scholarships and make offers on that regard. So March 1st is very, very important. Students that apply after March 1st are still considered for admission, but they will not be considered for financial need. So March 1st is that sort of firm deadline that we're trying to drive home with our Belizean listeners today.
And for those who may be interested, can you talk a little bit about perhaps some of the extracurricular programs or facilities that are available at the university as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things I'll mention that I think are really important. First of all is a little bit about housing. I strongly encourage students to live in housing. We have capacity for about 1,500 students on campus. Over 90% of our first year students will live in the residences as well as part of their studies with us. And for Belizeans, we'll actually guarantee a first year housing guarantee. So what that means is, as long as you're granted admission to the university and you submit an application for housing, you are guaranteed a room for your first year in residence. So that alleviates any worry for students. So we have a lot of in-housing programming as well with our residence assistants. So we have house competitions and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But outside of class, a couple of things that I'll note. One is that we're very heavy into athletics at Acadia. So we have 11 different varsity teams that participate in Atlantic University sport, both in Atlantic Canada and across the country. But we also have 26 different club level sport as well. So students who may not be operating at the varsity level can participate in things like club football, club soccer, for example, wrestling, all sorts of fun stuff like that. We have our athletics facility on campus. We've got football fields, we've got soccer fields, we've got swimming pools, fitness facilities, so lots of things to stay healthy. But Acadia itself is located in a beautiful community called Wolfville. Wolfville has a population of about 4,500 people, so we're the epitome of a college university town. We've got a lot of cute little shops, restaurants, pubs, those sorts of things. We're also located in a region of Nova Scotia, which is called Annapolis Valley, which is home to, I think, 8 different vineyards and orchards. So we have apple orchards, wine vineyards, all kinds of fun and awesome stuff for students to do in their spare time as well.
And, you know, I guess the major adjustment for people from Belize would be the weather. Tell us about that there.
Yeah, so really interesting. One of the things that sometimes is a little bit confusing for my family in Belize when we think about coming to study in Canada is the weather in Canada. So Canada has a very interesting climate in that we have the major continental temperatures. So that would be central Canada, you know, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Those areas are the areas of Canada where it gets very cold. This week, I think that we're having about minus 30 Celsius, for example. Out on the east coast of Canada, we don't get that cold. So on average in the winter here in the community of Wolfville, the average temperature in the dead of winter, which is February, is usually about +3 to -3. So we hover around the 0 mark. Our climate would be very familiar with what folks might know as the Northeast US. We're just a 45-minute flight from Boston, for example. So we have a very similar climate to the Northeastern US. Flip side to that, in the summer, we can get temperatures in the 40 degrees Celsius range here in Nova Scotia. So we've got a very maritime climate, very hot, humid summers like you would be used to having in Belize. But then, of course, in the winter, it certainly cools down. We do get some snow here, but not as much snow as you might expect. So up until last week, I could see my lawn, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of snow in the last week, probably about 10 to 20 centimeters, and that'll probably melt in the next couple of weeks. And we'll start to move into spring in March and early April.
Okay. All right. So the event, once again, is tomorrow night. It's virtual.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so tomorrow night, 7 p.m., really encouraging students to make sure they register for the event. You're not able to get into the event unless you register so that we can send you that registration link.
And it starts at?
7:00 p.m. Belize time. So that's 9:00 p.m. here at Acadia University. And I'll be on the line to join you. And you'll be able to also meet my colleagues down in Belize. Ms. Linda Munoz and her great team who are ready and willing to help our Belizean students with their application process to Acadia. I should also mention, I forgot to mention this one, our office in Belize can also be a receiving location for all of those documents that you need to send up for admission as well. So no need to be sending documents from Belize up to Canada. Our office in Belize can receive those and make sure those documents are sent up here, making your application process even that much more smoother.
Okay. And of course, I see there too that you'll also provide some guidelines for getting the visa going.
Yeah, so the Canadian visa process will provide some basic advice on that.
Yeah.
But for your viewers here today, the #1 step in starting the visa process, of course, is having a letter of admission from a Canadian university. So we'll talk to that, and then we'll talk about the next step after you get that letter of admission to, of course, receive that visa.
All right. Well, Tony, thank you so much for telling us all about what Acadia has to offer. And for students in Belize who are looking for an opportunity to further their education in Canada, I'm sure they're going to benefit from the event tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time today. I wish I could be physically down there in Belize to see all my friends and family down there. Certainly miss my second home in Belize. Really missing Salbutes, of course. So really hoping that we can all get through this pandemic together, so I can hop on a plane again soon and come down and see my friends and family down there.
All right. Well, thank you and stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yep. And with that, we are going to be taking a short break, and we'll be back right now, so please stay tuned.
You're cordially invited to the Acadia University Virtual Information Session happening on Wednesday, February the 17th at 7 o'clock. During this session, you'll learn everything you need to know about joining the Acadia University family in Canada. You'll learn about scholarship programs ranging from $500 to $60,000 Canadian dollars, guaranteed student housing, admissions procedures, and programs of study, student services, and housing options. Plus, you'll get an overview of the Canadian Study visa regulations. Call our Belize Recruitment Office representatives, M Business Solutions, in Belize City for more information at 223-6766. Future students could win $5,000 in tuition credits. Acadia University is ranked as the #1 undergraduate university in Nova Scotia and one of the top 3 undergraduate universities in Canada. Acadia University accepts over 100 students from the Caribbean. For more information, give them a call at 223-6766. That's 223-6766.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank. Our country, your bank. Love is a connection that should last forever. This February, NextGen is sharing the love with amazing promo deals for everyone. Reconnect or install with NextGen for free. Sign up for our affordable cable and high-speed internet plans and get 1 month free on your acquired service. But that's not all. New and reconnecting customers can now receive 1 month free MyTV subscription when you sign up with us anytime in February. Some restrictions apply. For more information on our promotions and services, contact us at 0800-222-5388 or via our social media platforms. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Are you traveling? Effective January 26, all passengers traveling internationally will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel to the United States, and show your negative result to the airline before you board your flight. Here at Caring Hands Clinic in San Pedro, we administer the antigen test, frequently referred to as a rapid test. Our products are CDC compliant and FDA approved. Testing has never been this easy. With our highly certified and licensed medical staff, we provide you with an accurate test result in minutes, making your experience fast, safe, and easy. To book your appointments today, contact us on any of our hotlines at 671-TEST or 672-TEST, 226-FAST, or our Vonage line at 305-420-6203. Book your appointments online at www.belizecovidtest.com. Caring Hands Clinic Antigen Test Center. We're pleased to serve you.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
If you have a cough or a sneeze, cover up to the writing, please. Boys and girls, the entire family, help protect the weak country. Wash your hands properly. Wash your hands regularly. Soap and water is all you need to scrub and rub naturally. Coronavirus, seriously, it took over the world practically. Stealing lives with no remedy. We pay everybody fee up cautiously. Boys and girls, the entire family, help protect the weak country. Wash your hands properly. Wash your hands regularly. Soap and water is all you need to scrub and rub naturally.
And unfortunately, we are not able to have the PP Mayoral candidate joining us this morning. There was another emergency that she had to attend to, so instead, we're going to be taking a look at a news item that ran last night in our newscast. And she...
Yeah. And yeah, so last night we took a look at some of the events from yesterday. Of course, it was nomination day, and we are going to be looking at what took place for the municipal candidates in Belize City. So, of course, we are about 2 weeks away from the municipal elections, which will take place on March 3rd. And first, we are going to be taking a look at some of what happened yesterday, and we're going to be showing some of what aired last night on our news. So first, we have the United Democratic Party's candidates, and so let's take a look.
My team and I are really elated. It's official now that we are the UDP Belize City 11 slate, and we are ready to continue the work that we have been doing and consulting with the people of Belize City in order to convince them to cast their ballot for us on March 3rd, 2021.
Are you all a team of sacrificial lambs?
There is no sacrificial lambs here, Jules. I can speak for myself and my councillor candidates. We wanted this opportunity to serve the people of Belize City. And because we have been granted that opportunity and made official today, we will continue to consult with the people of Belize City, the residents, and come March 3rd, we will deliver a victory for the United Democratic Party in Belize City.
This is a proud moment for myself, this is a proud moment for my family, and this is a proud moment for my community. So I'm coming all out. It's not every day somebody from Carl Road comes and get nominated to run for Belize City Council. So this is a big day for us.
You all would be starved if elected because the PUP in Belmopan can't help you and won't help you.
Jules, the City Council is still collecting trade license. It's still collecting property taxes. The long and short of it, the City Council can sustain itself. All it takes is for you to channel the resources where it is supposed to go. And we will get back the resources into the community. We will build streets. We will hire individuals from the community to ensure that we are building back our city together.
Where is it going right now?
Ask the mayor.
Yeah, well, we do apologize. In fact, what we wanted to bring to you is the nomination day from Belmopan. And we are actually going to air at this time what yesterday morning looked like. The first to go to the nomination center was the People's United Party, and so we're going to take a look at that now.
Politics is not an easy road, especially for women, because we are living in a patriarchal society. But I can see that the wave has changed, because for Belmopan it's going to be 2 females, and we are looking forward for a big win, and we're putting in the work. We're doing our campaigns. Everybody here are very hard workers, and our slogan is a change from the heart, because at this time, along with the pandemic, we have a lot of people who they've lost hope. And our role will be to light that candle in the darkness and ensure that our people are pleased. People power is power. We're here to make a difference, a big difference, whereby the people will see what we're doing. And whenever you come to City Hall, Dwayne, you don't have to make an appointment. Our doors, the mayor's office, will remain open just the way I did at the University of Belize. I will not say anything negative about Jackie. I consider ourselves friends. When it comes to the battlefield, we're going to battle. And let's go for it. March 3rd, and the people will decide. And I can safely share with you that the people want a change. And that's what, if you have a central government favoring our party, the People's United Party, it is just right. And I shouldn't say it is just right, but we are the people's choice.
All right, so that was a look at the nomination day in Belmopan yesterday. So we are actually now going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate, man.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank. Our country. Your bank.
Abigail.
Yes, Gran?
Abigail, I can't breathe well.
Granny, we need to go to the hospital to get you checked out.
No! I'm fine.
Yes, Gran, we need to go now to get you treated. Now, before it's too late.
No, 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 no.
Grandma, we need to go for all of us.
No, no, no.
Stop. If you are having flu-like symptoms, please call us immediately for medical guidance. If you have chronic conditions such as diabetes and you're experiencing symptoms such as shortness of breath or chest pain, please also seek medical attention immediately. We've lost a lot of people this year. We don't want to lose you too. Please seek help if necessary. Call us at 0800-664-2273. Continue to wear your mask at all times. Keep physical distance when in public and stay at home unless absolutely necessary. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
And if you're joining us right now, we're just closing off our show for this morning after we've had a lot of great conversations. We, of course, started with our Meet the Mayoral candidate segment, and we heard from the UDP's candidate, Jackie Burns, who is vying for mayor of Belmopan. And so we want to thank her for coming in and sharing a bit about herself and about her plans for the municipality of Belmopan if she should be victorious on election day.
Yes. And we also want to thank Tony from Acadia University. Acadia University is in Canada, and they are trying to recruit students to travel and study on their campus. And they are having an information session tomorrow night. You have to register to participate, and you can find out all the details about academic programs that they offer, the cost of studying at their institution, and check it out as to whether it is a good fit for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And while unfortunately we weren't able to have our conversation this morning with Sharon Palacio, who is the PUP's candidate for Belmopan, we did take a look at the clip from nomination day yesterday, so we did hear a little bit from her. And of course, we started off our show showing a little bit of a recap of some of yesterday's events concerning the Commission of Inquiry that the present government has called to look into the sale of certain government assets from the period of 2019 to 2020. And of course, we will be continuing to give you coverage of those events and of course of the events leading up to the municipal elections on March 3rd.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today. Remember, if you want to contact us, send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com.
Yeah. You can find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OIE Belize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.